Right, boom, we're back. Squeeze the Neck podcast. Today I'm in Watford with not my new mate, my new coach. MMA Shredded or Shred?
Shredded.
Shredded,
Yeah.
I thought so, I nearly messed up. Jeff Chan.
I just stick with Jeff Chan
Yeah,
now.
I
It's
gotcha.
actually funny because like nowadays MMA Shredded, it's very like I was young when I came up with the name, and now I'm like kind of embarrassed to use the name, and like I've added this like Jeff Chan of MMA Shredded instead of just like MMA Shredded.
Right, gotcha. I
Yeah.
should have said Jeff Chan first, shouldn't I?
No, it's all
Anyway,
good.
Jeff Chan will redo it. But mate, thank you very much for doing this.
Of course.
So I did a seminar with you on Saturday, I believe it was.
Yes, Saturday.
At Gauntlet in Ealing, which was brilliant. I'll be honest, I didn't know an awful lot about it. I peripherally did. My friend said, "Oh, you got to come to the seminars on blah blah blah," and I've been at seminars at Ealing before. Haggerty was there, all that kind of stuff.
Sweet.
So I've had good experiences there. I've had Neto on the podcast, good guys. So I love a seminar with someone who's got good sort of, not just good techniques, because you can find them not anywhere, but you get what I'm saying. There's a lot of good technique out there, more for the good energy and all that kind of stuff.
For sure.
My mate, shout out Alex, he was on the podcast this morning. And he said, you got to come to this podcast, blah, blah, blah. And I'm glad I did. So, learned a lot of tricky things, lots of things I wanted to pick your brain on.
Yeah, I would say it's what makes my seminars or what I teach stand out is that it's basic for beginners, but it's very different for advanced guys.
Yep.
And I never claim to be the best. I'm not, there's so many fighters that are better than me out there. But there are certain things that I do that not a lot of people teach.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you one thing that stuck with me, a few things, but one, you said it about 3 or 4 times during the session. You said, it's not right, it's not wrong, this is how I do it, which I think on its own is cool. And you said also about you don't want to get up close because that's not your style, which is more my style. So for me, when I was listening to you, I was like, I need to see what this man's doing, because we was doing all kinds of bouncing all over the shop stuff, and I thought it was really good. It was really good seminar, which we'll dive into, I'm sure, as we go.
Do we get any rounds in?
We didn't in the end, no, because
there's too many, man.
Too
I was
many,
gassed out.
I tell you what
Flew
it was.
in at 6 in the morning
Right.
that day.
Well, when I was doing it, I was in the queue.
Okay.
And then I was about 5 deep, so I thought I'm going to get cold, so I went and moved on. And then I was like, it's a bit of a cheap move to jump on someone when they're like tired, isn't it?
I mean, they all were. They were all Shark Tanking me.
Right. So yeah. But it was, to be honest, I got to the point where I was watching some of your rounds, and I was like, I'll probably get more from watching this anyway. And we're going to have a session today anyway, so I'm sure I'll learn more from you there.
Yeah.
But how'd you get started in martial arts, mate? And where are you from originally?
I'm from Ottawa, Canada. And no special reason. A friend brought me in, started training for fun, fell in love with it, and then I think most people, they start fighting because their coaches are like, oh, you're talented, you should compete, and then just kind of one fight after the other.
As simple as that. You just kind of fell into it, sort of thing.
Yeah. Like I like training as a martial artist. Even now, like I don't tell people I'm a fighter. Like maybe if I'm making a poster or whatnot for marketing purposes. But like when I talk to people in person, like I'm not a fighter. I'm just a martial artist.
Right.
Never liked fighting.
That's
I love
interesting.
training.
Okay.
And I only fought pro because I had the opportunity.
Yeah. It's kind of GSP-esque, that, isn't it? Like he says similar things along them lines.
Yeah, exactly.
And you fought in one championship, right? So you're fighting at an extreme level, really, aren't you? Do you know what I mean? Like it sounds like, from what you said, like you didn't like it. It's almost like you've had a few fights on amateur shows and kind of got on with it. But it's way more than that for you, isn't it?
Yeah. Like I said, I had the opportunity.
Right.
So I decided to take it.
Yeah.
But I didn't fight for very long because, first of all, YouTube pays much more. Other outlets pay a lot more.
Right.
And you gotta save the brain.
Yeah, you have,
Yeah,
and how old are you now, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm now 34.
34, so you're young, aren't you? You know what I mean? You can still fight if you wanted to, sort of thing.
Yeah, definitely. Like the most common question I get asked is like, why did you stop fighting? And the reasons are the same. It's the pay is not worth the brain damage. I lose money when I take a fight. I get paid more doing what I'm doing right now. I never really loved it. I loved being a martial artist, but I never loved the fight camp and training for fights. My wife also hates, really against fighting. Yells at me when I do hard sparring.
Yeah.
So now it's just training, being a martial artist.
Right.
And I would say the most important thing why I stopped fighting is I kind of lost the ego.
Okay.
And if you want to fight, especially at that level, you need to have that. You need to have an ego.
Yeah. Right.
And I kind of lost it. And now when I train and spar, I like to create art. As long as it's entertaining, doesn't matter if I'm getting hit or I'm hitting him. As long as people enjoy it, and I'm teaching and providing some sort of value to whoever's watching, then I'm cool.
Well, that was one thing I saw from like when I was watching you around, and when you was teaching as well. To be fair, it's like as well as being very athletic, there seemed like a very sort of I don't know if artsy is the right word, but way about you as you move. It's like here, there, slip, slide, like very, very technical, but also like not step by step like you'd expect, like jab, cross, hold your hands here. It's sort of here, there, everywhere, like I don't know where he's going type moves.
Well, that's what I was saying at the beginning, is that it's not that I'm the best fighter, but I can relate to others because, you know, there's a lot of people who relate to me and be like, you know what, I'm tired of the shell style because I'm taking too much damage.
Right.
And the style that I teach and use, it's very evasive and maybe it's taught less because it requires a little bit more skill and time to get it. Whereas if it's your first day training, I mean, you should be learning how to shell.
Right.
But if you're going to train with me for the first day, I'm going to teach you how to be a little more evasive.
Of course.
Right?
Do you feel like you graduate from that a little bit? Not graduate like you have to leave it behind, but once you've earned your stripes to a degree, you can kind of fiddle and fart about and do what you want to do, right?
For sure.
Roy Jones is a good example, someone who dropped his hand. I'm sure he didn't do that day one, and you can't really tell him not to because it works, right?
Exactly. My favorite analogy is when you get your driver's license, 2 hands to the wheel, full stop, left, right, okay, go. Now, or like, not a full stop and going.
Yeah.
Texting driving, you know?
Oh, whoa, easy.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
You know the rules, you can break the rules.
Yeah, of course, yeah. You said that as well, and I like that. That's one that stuck with me and stuff. And I'll tell you what I get a lot from seminars, we were talking about this morning, is when you go to a seminar, I think you can fall into the mistake of sort of like, right, I need to learn every single thing. And we all know the guys, that not that there's anything wrong with it if it works for them, but they're writing everything down, and like, by the end of it, they've got like an essay. Like for me, my brain don't take that on. If I turn up, I'm like, I want one thing, and I won't say it on here, I won't give away your secrets. But there was like a certain particular
Well,
move.
I don't.
Yeah.
That's the thing about me is anything I've taught, you can probably find it online as well.
Right.
I'm totally open book.
Yeah.
I'm super honest with my tutorials. Like
Right.
I actually teach all my tutorials through sparring footage.
Right.
Like I don't teach like non-resistance.
Yeah.
It's like sparring footage so that you can see what it looks like in sparring. Because I think I mentioned this in the seminar as well. I might teach a technique the way it should look, the way I think it should look, but go back and look at my sparring because it might look different.
Right.
And every situation is different.
That's interesting. Well, I'll tell you what was interesting. I don't know if you'll remember this. It was the move I was taking was like an overhand shot into a low kick, right?
Okay.
And it was like you came over to me and you was like, no, you didn't throw the right hand properly. But it was fun and it wasn't like an old school like clipboard teacher, like, oh, you did that wrong, son. But it was like you was on me. You told me about 7 times to get it right. I thought it was like really good, you know.
I think maybe I said you can throw the overhand,
Yeah.
but I like throwing the cross.
Right,
Because it's simply
right.
longer.
Yeah,
when you throw the
okay.
overhand, your head is now closer
Yeah.
to the target, and you might get clipped when you're exiting out with the low kick.
Gotcha.
The cross keeps you longer so that you don't get hit. Again, it's about the being evasiveness. However, the overhand would be a better option if you want to close the distance, stay in the pocket.
Yes.
Like you said, that's what you like to do,
Yes,
so it fits your style.
Yeah, but it was good because like it was like you turned your shoulder too much, didn't turn your shoulder at all, didn't do it. And
Right.
And as soon as you said it, I was like, fuck, I know he did. I know, but I wouldn't until you said it. But yeah, it was good. If you get a chance, get on a seminar with this man. But go back a step, mate. Like, what was your first art?
Can I add that
Of course,
one more time?
yeah.
It's funny because whenever I do privates, I did a private just yesterday, and I kept telling him to not punch from the center line and to punch from here. And like 10 times in a row, I'm like, you did it again. You did it again. He's like, are you sure I did it? I'm like, okay, put the camera on, let's film, and let's continue the private lesson. And then I caught him on the camera.
Nice.
But
Nice.
anyways, what were you asking?
Your first art, what did you do initially? Was it MMA?
Muay Thai.
I was Muay Thai.
Started with Muay Thai. Started with this style, you know, shell, standing tall, you know, very traditional Muay Thai style. I liked it. I just felt like I took a lot of damage.
Right. Okay.
And when I transitioned to MMA, I got taken down very easily.
Right.
And so as I started doing more MMA sparring in general, I needed to adapt a more wider stance to give me that footwork. And I am a Jiu Jitsu black belt, but I'm much more comfortable striking. I'm much more confident in my striking. So when I do MMA sparring, I'm always the MMA guy who strikes, and I'll shoot for a takedown when they get too close, but because I'm an outside fighter,
Right.
and if it hits the ground, I'm trying to get back up.
Yeah, I got you.
So I'm still like a striker.
Uh-huh.
And so with that said, I needed that wider stance so that I can move in and out
Yeah.
and not get taken down.
Right.
If I was like really confident with my grappling, then maybe I'll stand taller, I'll walk my opponent down. I don't care if I get taken down.
Yeah.
But it's because I don't want to get taken down.
Yeah,
I had to really change the stance.
Well, that's interesting because you kept talking about being bladed too, right?
Yes,
And I was
yes.
There were so many little things. It was like, I don't do it that way. When you showed it and I tried it, I was like, all right.
It can work. It can work if you give the chance.
Yeah.
Everything works. And
Yeah.
that's the thing, as you train more and more martial arts and meet more fighters, there's nothing wrong
No.
Right? There's really nothing wrong.
No.
I can literally find a famous fighter who does everything that you're taught not to do.
Right, of course.
Yeah.
And to be honest, a lot of the time, right? And John Danaher said this once. It was like, if you look at the top guys in the world, they're the guys you should be listening to, not the guy who teaches in a leisure centre on a Wednesday night.
Right.
With his gut and whatever.
I mean, to a degree, right?
Of course, there's degrees.
Again, if it's your first class, you should definitely listen to him.
100%.
If you don't know anything, you definitely listen.
Yeah.
But then, as you get more experienced, you can be more open-minded.
Right.
That's all.
And I think you have to be at a certain level, don't you?
Yeah.
Because there's only so far that any coach, it doesn't matter how good the coach is, there's only so far they can take you by just following step by step, right?
Exactly.
You have to sort of go, right, cool, fit this peg in this hole versus well, it's not working for me anymore. And I'll tell you, sorry to cut you off, what was interesting at that seminar, just by dumb luck, I guess, was a lot of the people I got to move around with at the end, like they was similar weight, a lot of them to me, but some of them were 6'3", one of them was about 5'4", you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, all that plays into it as well, doesn't it?
Yeah. So I was actually just going to say, it depends on who you're fighting and what your traits are. So if you're shorter or taller, less explosive, more explosive. I'm a naturally explosive person, so this style fits for me.
Right.
If you're less explosive, it still can, but might not be the best style for you.
Right.
And if someone's taller, I would have so the seminar that I taught on Saturday was really like, okay, if you're the longer guy or if you're the same weight, you do these techniques.
I got you.
But the whole jab, cross parry, left hook.
Yes.
If your opponent is taller, you're gonna miss.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, for sure.
So you'd have to do something different against someone that's taller. You'd have to close the distance, like your style, close the distance on the taller person. However, I don't like to stay in the pocket. It's still closing the distance, getting in and getting out. Because if you stay there, the taller guy clinches you, and the taller guy is going to win.
Right, of course, yes. And you used a lot of stuff as well, which was really sort of eye-opening to me, was how far you got away from someone like that after the shot. It was like exit stage left, and you
Forward,
weren't just
baby,
like
forward.
out. You weren't like me and you are now slightly out. You was like gone, right? It was like, all right, cool.
That's the goal, right?
Yeah, it was really good. But with when you started jiu-jitsu, what sort of level of Muay Thai was you at this point?
When I started jiu-jitsu, I would say I still had the Muay Thai traditional style, because I started training jiu-jitsu when I wanted to get into MMA.
Nice, okay.
And so back in the day, they had no amateur MMA. So I actually had my pro debut as a white belt in jiu-jitsu.
Right, okay, wow.
And my coach, what he said was very, I guess, ignorant, but he's like, these MMA guys, they can't strike. You're gonna just outstrike them all.
Right.
And first fight, that's actually what happened. I TKO'd the guy in the first round. But then second fight, they gave me a wrestler, and then I was striking him. Second round took me down, choked me out.
Right.
And then I didn't fight pro again until I was a purple belt, I believe.
Okay, so
But
quite
yeah.
a distance after.
Yeah.
Because for anyone who doesn't know, it's like some people that are just boxing fans or whatever, like the gap from white belt to purple belt is bigger than purple to black, right?
Yes.
It's huge.
Yes,
Like when you get to, if you make it to purple belt, you're at a decent level now.
Yeah, and nowadays, belts don't matter. No. There's blue belts, purple belts that fuck up black belts.
Yeah. I mean, especially purple belts on a regular, right?
Yeah,
you see it,
because those guys, at least the competitors, they train with black belts on a daily basis, and they compete, and then they have like the absolute division, and they go
and they can
belts.
get like literally. I know someone the other day. I forget which one. One of my club mates. He had 16 matches in the same day, which is nuts. He did like 4 divisions. You know what I mean?
That's
like
crazy,
adult. I think it was juvenile. It was like one of them. But 16 in a day is heavy work, isn't it?
It's
like,
a lot.
It's a lot of work. Gi, no gi, all that kind of stuff. But like, was you a gi man when you started?
I was.
Yeah.
I was. And then when I got into MMA, it was a lot of no gi, scrambling. And then it was hard to go back into the gi just because I was getting used to the leg locks and whatnot. But then once I start training in the gi for a while, then I get used to it again, and I start loving the sport, loving it as a sport. And actually nowadays, I prefer both.
Right.
No gi because the leg locks and the scrambles, and because for me, when I think jiu-jitsu, I think more like MMA oriented. But then I do like jiu-jitsu in the gi nowadays because it's slower pace. I'm getting a bit older. I'm getting much less competitive, and in jiu-jitsu, that's where I get all the injuries because people they go 100% because they can because they think they can't hurt you, and so all the scrambles do risk higher injury. In the gi, you could slow it down, especially the young guys, young white belts, blue belts.
Them heavy blue belts that like to spaz around, right? They're the ones. But with me, when I started jiu-jitsu, it was like I was a boxer first, right? So I came from striking the same as you. But I was kind of the mindset of like, whatever. I went to a grading when I think I was like a 1-stripe white belt, and there was a guy who got his black belt. You know when you're not sort of mature enough in the sport to appreciate what it is. And I was kind of like, you know, that's cool. I'll get one of them soon. And then you start getting there and you start getting to blue belt. I was a blue belt for over 5 years. Do you know what I mean? So
wow.
it was like, this is deep, isn't it? And the game grows, and leg locks became a thing when I was sort of just before I got my blue belt. I think it was like massive. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it's like which is almost like another sport in itself, and you got to learn again, take the gi off. Blah, 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 blah. But my thing now, I'm a bit like what you said there. Is like I like learning more no gi. I don't like doing too many lapel chokes and all this.
Yeah,
kind of
it's a
stuff.
little bit
But I like
realistic.
to spar. I
Okay.
like to if we put the gi on and go right, cool, let's roll. I kind of like that kind. It's almost like I look at it a bit more like a game. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Because now I've got more grips to worry about. I can't,
Fair.
Blast double's not working as well. And things
Yeah,
like that, do you know what I mean?
escaping is a lot harder with the gi.
Yeah.
Right.
And you can get shut down. Can't you? Like
You
stuck,
can get shut down.
Like,
Yes.
In terms of,
Can't just scramble to your knees.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, which
right.
I really rely on a lot.
Yeah. Right. I think we all do, right? At a certain point. But like, what weight was you fighting at as a pro, mate?
Bantamweight. So
Bantamweight,
135.
Really? You're a big guy for that, no?
You would think. I mean, I don't fight anymore, so
Right.
I walk around right now about 160.
Okay.
But when I was fighting, my walk around was 152, 155 max.
Okay. So
And
not
so
too bad.
152, if I started training twice a day, I'll already drop to like 150,
Right.
149, and then I'll start intermittent fasting, which will get me down to like 148, 147.
Right.
Then I just diet another 3-4 pounds. I just starve myself. I never had like a great routine, to be honest.
Right.
And then water cut the
Water
rest.
cuts the rest, right? Yeah, it's not too bad when you put it
Yeah.
like that on
Yeah,
paper. Yeah. Because I look at you, my thought would have been featherweight, right? Because you're
Man, featherweights are massive
now.
though.
They're big now.
Look at like Chad Mendez.
yeah.
Or like Alex Volkanovski. Like
Yeah.
those guys are massive.
Yeah, you see him. I was in Berlin, Germany. I don't know if you know a guy called Nico Samsonidze. He was, we did the podcast and stuff. Great guy. He fights featherweight. He had the Anderson Silva injury, you know, where he kicks the leg and it snaps.
Yeah.
And he actually came back. He's won titles since. So Nico, if you find your mate, shout out. But he's a featherweight.
Yeah.
Shocking.
So
Like, when
big.
I was in front of him, I was like, if you'd have given me the option, is he a featherweight or a welterweight? Bear in mind he's in clothes and stuff, but I was like, I'd have gone welterweight. Do you know what I mean? He's
They're
big.
just so tall.
Just tall.
They're tall, yeah.
He's got to be 6 foot and whatever. But anyway, side note. But I tell you one thing that's changed a lot over the years, and it goes back and forth. No one ever agrees on it. When you was fighting, did you have much of a sort of set pattern in terms of strength and conditioning and stuff like this?
You know what? I've always done strength conditioning under a coach.
Right.
Whatever he would tell me, I would do. It was always different. A lot of functional training. I can't really remember, to be honest.
Right.
If you ask me, do I do that type of training now? I do not.
Right.
It's only when I do have a coach that tells me what to do, because it requires a lot of discipline, a lot of push. When I work out by myself, I just do like calisthenics.
Right.
Yeah, some kettlebell. But in training camp, it's different. It's like timed. It's like sprints.
Because no one can agree on that, right? Some people have, and especially in jiu-jitsu, some guys don't do anything. You know? Just jiu-jitsu and that's all I do.
Yeah.
But like, we spoke about him earlier, GSP. When I was watching him back in the day, I like the idea of the gymnastic stuff.
Yeah.
Olympic lifting. Keep things simple, right? Because all the
Yeah.
cable twists and all the running around, throwing balls around. Not that it doesn't have a place. I'm oversimplifying it, but to me, a lot of that was like confusing. Like, what do I do?
It was very confusing, and would I sit here and say it helped me more than my current training? I don't know.
Right.
I just did it.
Yeah,
Right.
I got
I
you.
did feel great at the time, and I don't know if that was better versus now. I just know that it got me in shape. I think at the end of the day, if you work out, you're gonna. It doesn't matter what you do. You're gonna get stronger. You're gonna get better.
Right, I'd tell you another thing as well, like with getting into it late, because that's where I see a lot of people that go overboard on the strength and conditioning is, you know, when they start martial arts, they've never done any kind of combat, and now they're, I don't know, 24, 25, they seem to overload on the athleticism side of things, which to me, I don't think you can just get off a couch at 25 and start martial arts and be very successful.
Yeah.
But I think if you've been an athlete of some sort beforehand,
Yeah.
that's not that late. Do you see what I mean? Do you
Yes,
agree
yes.
with me? Or
100%,
not?
100%.
As long as you've done something, and then coming into the sport, number one is obviously the technical stuff. And
Yeah.
when we come to, the reason I put this together is because when I was at your seminar, you're obviously looking at someone in yourself who's teaches a very athletic style and is very athletic and bounces around all over stuff. But it's not like, I don't get the impression you're sitting there bicep curling. Do you see where I'm coming from? There's sort of a fluidness to the movement where it's like, maybe this could be a lot more simple than a lot of us make it. Am I somewhere in the ballpark with that?
Yeah. I think if you played any sports like soccer, basketball, hockey,
Football, mate. Which country are you in? Read the room.
You know, it's funny. I was teaching a little seminar to the kids, and I was telling them. So the double step low kick. It's the same movement as a soccer kick. Like you run into a soccer. I was saying soccer, and they're all calling me on it. But anyways, I used to play soccer.
Did
I
you?
think
Okay.
soccer is a good transition into a guy who kicks a lot.
Right.
Jose Aldo was a professional soccer player.
Right.
And yeah, if you have those athletic legs, footwork.
Can't hurt, can it? It can't hurt.
Yeah.
Because I tell you one thing as well, when you said Canada, like I would imagine you've got quite a big wrestling culture over there, right?
You know what? We did not have
Really?
wrestling
Okay.
in high school.
Okay, I'm surprised. I
So
thought
I
you did.
never actually wrestled in high school, and I never really joined wrestling class.
Okay.
I learned wrestling through training Jiu Jitsu class that teach you a thing or two. So like if you were to watch me wrestle right now, I do single, double leg.
Right.
That's it. Pretty much double leg.
That's what you need, right?
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. So I'm not really actually a wrestler. I just got a really good shot.
Yeah.
And if you put me up against a wrestler in wrestling, I probably won't be able to take him down.
Yes.
But once I add strikes in, I'm able to mix it up.
Because I'm assuming the entries on that make a big part, right? Your footwork, as again, we touched on it earlier, the speed of in and out. I mean, if you can get up that close on someone quick. The sweep you taught as well, I thought was magic.
I would say just mixing in the timing,
Yeah.
mixing the timing with the strikes.
Yeah.
Because when it's just wrestling, we're both like super low.
Right,
Now you have to
right.
do all these other stuff to get
Look
in.
over here and I'm over there. Right? But that sweep you taught as well.
Hip sweep?
I thought that was magic because we was talking about this morning as well. We were saying, like, when I first saw that one, that was the one I looked at and I go, I don't know, he's far out, man. He's like, but then I felt it and I was like, all right, I'll keep my mouth shut. That works.
I'm gonna send you. I'm gonna send you some videos of me doing it because the way I do, like, obviously you haven't been able to see any of my tutorials yet, but my tutorials, I don't just show me doing it once. I have like 20 clips.
Yeah, right.
Like
and it's working. Yeah.
different people. People get to see different sizes. Smaller guys.
Yeah.
Some people fall differently. Some people go flying.
Yeah.
Some failed attempts.
Yeah.
And so on. But if you like that sweep,
Yeah.
you gotta believe in it.
Yeah.
Because
I thought it was brilliant.
It hits a lot.
Yeah. The first time I stood there and I was kind of waiting for it.
Yeah.
And my feet went above my head.
I mean, it's still not as convincing because you weren't resisting.
Right.
You need to see it when someone is resisting.
Yeah, I got you. Because well, I think
Then you'll believe it.
Then you'll clock it because there's like I've been diving into the newest martial art I've kind of gone into a little bit at the moment is judo.
Okay, cool.
And a lot of it is obviously with the hips. And
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff left out where I've wrestled and stuff like you can't grab the legs, blah blah blah. I was lucky enough to do a seminar with a couple of judo Olympic medalists. And aside from, like I said before about the grips, like I'm not getting that back till they give it to me. Do you know what I mean? Like that's stuck now. But simple little things they do, and I don't think even they are aware of it. I don't mean they're not aware of it, but in terms of like, it's not such a teaching point. They just do something so natural with the hips, and there was a bit of that with that kind of sweep when it was like boom, oh, down.
It's actually, I think I used a basic judo throw as an analogy on how to it's all hips.
Yeah. And how long have you been teaching seminars in person like that?
Quite some time.
I was going to say because it's very kind of like easy for you, right?
It's pretty easy for me. I know my stuff very well, and I've taught all my stuff so many times that once I see you make a mistake, I know exactly what analogy or example I can use to help you understand it. Yeah. For example, the most common thing off the double step low kick is they push off the left leg, the lead leg versus the right leg, the rear leg.
Right.
And my trick is to lift the left leg first because now that forces them to push off the right leg.
Yeah, but it's very simple to follow as well, isn't it? It's not
you're
not sort of giving like 17 steps for something.
No.
Like lost, but I thought that was really good. But what's the future hold for your channel, mate? Where's this going? Are you going to be the guy that everyone knows? You walk into a bar and everyone recognises Jeff Chan Shredded.
I mean,
MMA
I hope so. I hope so. That's what I'd like. My goal is to reach as many people as possible. The purpose of the channel is to, most importantly, inspire and motivate people. And then teach. I think I get a lot of daily messages of people saying, "Hey, I watched your video. It got me pumped for sparring. I'm gonna try this move for sparring." So now they have an agenda going to sparring, not just going in recklessly. Or I saw your video on sparring etiquette, being controlled, light versus touch sparring. It hit 19 million views. Point is, the video was about light versus touch, meaning if you're a bigger guy, your light is different than this smaller guy. I think a lot of people need that because too much hard sparring going on nowadays. People need to be think of the sport longevity and inspiring and motivating people to get off the couch and train.
That's cool, man. Well, you said about longevity as well. Like, I'd like to be able to sit here with you in 20 years. We still speak coherently.
Exactly.
And we can go and train again. Do you know what I mean? I'm big on that now as I'm getting sort of, I don't want to say older. I don't like the word older. I reject it. But you know what I'm saying? As I've done this for longer, I want to, I want to be able to do this when I'm 50. Do you know what I mean? I mean, you might not be able to do the same stuff, but that's a different thing. But do you train fighters actively as well for their upcoming bouts?
Not as much, because I travel quite a bit. And the only time that I actually taught like full time was in New York. and I trained a lot of the competitors, but I wasn't there for too long. Okay. Right now, I do a lot of private lessons, I do seminars, and most of my teaching is online.
Nice.
So I don't really have the opportunity to train a fighter for a very long period of time. If I'm being honest, if I own a gym, I want recreational guys, amateurs versus pros.
Okay.
Because, not that I don't want to train them, but the pros are the ones that don't have money. and from what I've seen from my coach, the pros are like, it's like having a girlfriend. Yeah. Like they need a lot of your time.
Right.
And not that I don't want to help them.
Yeah.
But
it's a different skill set in terms of getting someone ready for a fight versus like, not necessarily what we did at the seminar, but like showing people stuff, letting them go away, come back with a new question and stuff like that. It's a different skill set.
It's a different skill set.
It's very different because like I've worked with a shout out Luba, I've mentioned him probably every podcast, wrestling coach, Bulgarian champion, animal. I had the chance to get up to him. He lives about 4 hours away to train, first time in a while. And it's just like you forget these little bits, don't you? And I find again, I've probably got a monkey brain, but when I learn things, if I find something like from your seminar, from him, one little thing and it kind of sticks with me and it sort of overplays on my mind.
Yep.
Versus sometimes, partly because of my personality, if I'm around the one person for too long, I can get sort of like, and I'm not taking it in as much. Not that I'm trying to be difficult, but it's just like, it's not the same. Whereas you go, here, try this kick, bang, 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 see you later, I'll see you in 3 months. That'll make me go, Do you see where I'm coming from? I think there's an element of like, fighters sort of stay in training camp too long. Like I know people that are pros, and I look, and listen, it's not my place to tell them they're training wrong, right? But some of them you see and you're like, you're wearing yourself out. And we've all been there, right?
I had this conversation, I think like 3 days ago. I find guys who fight too much, they don't get that much better. Because when they're in fight camp, they're just focused on cardio. They're focusing on what they're already good at. I think now my cardio was excellent in 2021, the last time I fought. Cardio is not very good right now. But I'm, in my opinion, way better than I was in 2021 because I have not been fighting and I've just been learning from this coach, from this coach, from this coach, and just practicing and being playful. That's how you level up.
Yeah, I think so. And like when you do even if you haven't got a fight, some guys they've only got one gear in training, right? Like you see guys like every time they train, it's 5 rounds to the death. And listen, I've done it. Like it's not, you can't, it's like what's the saying? Like you can't see the whatever through the trees or whatever, the forest through the trees, whatever. But there's an element of sometimes almost like a lazy man mindset, right? Like when I was at your seminar, I was like, I'm gonna have fun today. I'm gonna play because you've kind of got that personality that brings it out of you too. And it was like, I felt like the environment, as much as the techniques, not even, obviously the techniques were great, but like if you aside from the techniques, a learning environment for me is big nowadays. Maybe I'm just getting old and like,
no, I agree.
Whatever.
I agree. 100% agree. Actually, another question that I get asked very often is, how do I find the right gym? If I'm going to a new city, I move to a new city, or I'm just visiting a new city, how do I find the right gym? And I always tell them, it's actually not about the coaches. It's not about, it's not about how good the coach is. It's about how the people treat you and how the coaches treat you. If they welcome you, they actually care about the best of your interest, then that's the gym you want to be. You can go to a fighter's gym where the coaches are really well known and there's tons of fighters, but a lot of times the coaches don't give a shit about you.
And they ain't got time to even know your name, have they? Let alone show you anything.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the place where you don't want to go, in my opinion, at least.
Yeah. I mean, are you a big fight fan? Do you watch fights, or are you more sort of?
I do. A little bit less nowadays because UFC plays super late, and I'm a new father.
Oh, congratulations, my man.
Thank you. But my schedule has changed quite a bit. Right now, to be honest, I only get to train like once a week when I'm back at home. Right. When I travel, I get to train every day. But then when I go back home, it's like, okay, now I got to make up the time.
Of course, yeah. Hierarchy of importance in life. Right?
But with that said, I try to follow the main fights. I don't get to watch the small fight cards anymore.
Yeah, I got you. Did you see the Gaethje one at the weekend?
I saw only highlights.
I mean, interesting fight. I don't know how much of it you saw, but like to me, it'd be interesting to see what you say. I felt like the biggest difference was Paddy didn't have the ability to hurt Gaethje, and Gaethje could hurt him whenever he wanted. And as the fight was going on, that accumulation was sort of catching. He caught him in the first round and such. But I don't know if you watched enough.
I didn't. I watched like very short highlights. It looked really entertaining though.
Everyone
thought Paddy was going to win.
I changed my mind, and not that I'm trying to sound clever for the camera, but I changed my mind a few days before, for no apparent reason other than just a feeling of like, I don't know, man, Gaethje's got a lot of experience, isn't he? I might.
I also heard Paddy didn't shoot though.
He didn't know. He got caught early in the fight.
But he didn't go for any takedowns.
He seemed hesitant for it for me, but it seemed like it was the power of Gaethje because he was landing a lot, Paddy, but it just seemed like it wasn't having enough effect on Justin, right? Whereas Justin, you know what Justin's like, when he froze, he froze.
Yeah,
and it seemed like he became a little bit weary and whatever. And listen, I don't know, like, we don't see it much, but from what you hear about Gaethje, his wrestling's like...
It's really good.
Yeah, ain't easy to take him down, is it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So if you shot him once and maybe he felt it.
Did he shoot at all?
They clinched a little bit. I think he shot late. I think it was the 4th round. I can't really remember clearly, but he did shoot eventually.
Okay.
But it didn't come off.
I was just making the assumption that he wanted to prove that he could strike and that he can handle it.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah, because it's interesting now. Like, they talk about Gaethje fighting Topuria. I'm a big fan of Topuria. I'm a big fan of Gaethje too.
Topuria is really your style, getting in. Yeah.
Well, I had the chance to do a seminar with Ryan Hall, who fought Topuria. He didn't go too deep about him and stuff like that. But the biggest thing he said about him that I noticed was how small he was, and that's a featherweight, let alone lightweight. He obviously hits like a tank, doesn't he? Do you know what I mean? But here's my thing. I feel like sometimes size is. In terms of being smaller in stature, if you're powerful and you're fast, it's not always a disadvantage, is it? Do you know what I mean? Like, because it's a smaller target. Like,
for sure.
For me, most of the time, when I was boxing and stuff, my opponents were slightly taller than me.
Yeah.
And on the odd occasion, I had someone shorter than me. It's not easy. It's a different headache, and it's more because I'm not used to it, right?
Yeah. People always ask me. Another question is, what style do you like to fight the most, or what's easier for you? And then another one is like, would you prefer tall or short? And the answer is always depends on the opponent.
Slow. I want slow. Yeah.
well, for example, like if you're like a in the pocket, close the distance fighter. I actually like to be on the outside and I like to keep you at bay and hit you. And someone will say, like, is it easier to fight someone like that or someone who stays on the outside with you? And the question is, how good is he? Because if he's better, he's gonna get in my pocket and get me really uncomfortable, and he's gonna land shots. If he's not better than me, he's a walking punching bag where I can intercept.
That's interesting.
It just depends on the skill.
That's interesting. It's a different way of looking at it. Isn't it? Because again, just because someone's short doesn't mean they're going to fight a certain way, either, does it? Do you know what I mean? We all know little short guys that can do backflips and like they got a little big up, but they're as athletic as anyone you know.
And they're just so good at closing the distance.
Right.
Yeah.
But I tell you, I know you said obviously new family and stuff like that. You're not training as much now. But if ideal world, like when you've got time and stuff like that, what's sort of in terms of getting better and like sharpening your sword, if you like, in terms of your art? What's sort of like good training for you? What do you like to do?
It's dependent on my sparring partner.
Right,
if I have the right sparring partner, which I do, depending on where I go, it's intense, but it's so controlled. It's like I'm throwing full speed, but I'm stopping right there.
Right.
I don't mind hard to the body. I'm trying to save the brain.
Yes.
And with the right partners that I know, that I've been training for a long time, we go intense. I would say like 70% to the body, 10% to the head.
Nice.
And thrown full speed, clean striking as well. I like that clean style. I like to use my head movement. I like to create art.
Nice.
That's how I get better.
Yeah.
But
that's good. I like what you said there, because I think that's what people miss. Like when it's hard to find a good training partner to do that, because when people do light sparring sometimes, the biggest thing I notice, it slows down. And it's not beneficial, is it? Because
that's
we're throwing
not
slow punches now.
Exactly. That's when I say light sparring, it doesn't look light.
Yeah, right.
A lot of people will actually watch my videos. Go back and watch my videos. Yeah. People go and watch my videos and be like, holy smoke, that looked really hard. But really, it wasn't hard. It was really controlled.
Yeah, that's interesting. Because again, watching you spar at the seminar, you've got this sort of like floaty style as well, haven't you? You know, you're not like hitting the wall. There's no sort of like crash bang wallop, which aside from being like in shape, that helps you get through a lot of rounds, doesn't it? You know, because when you was fighting MMA, was it 3 rounds you was fighting most of the time? Right. So 3 rounds. This is another question for you, because I've seen people, not so much anymore, but in the past, they're getting ready for a 3-round fight.
Yeah.
How do you spar? Oh, I'll do 8 rounds. Right, well, the pace is different, right? Now, I'm not saying it's wrong out of camp necessarily, but if you got a fight in 6 weeks, to me, it's interesting to hear what you say, is like, surely you should be training for 3 rounds, right? Maybe 4 to get one in the bank.
So what I did at TriStar was, I think it was like Mondays we would do 3 5s.
Nice.
And then Fridays would be 5 5s. And the 3 5s you were encouraged to go a little harder. And then the 5 5s move around a little bit, play a little bit more.
Makes sense, right? It's sort of so
Oh,
simple.
no,
Sorry, mate.
It's okay.
So simple, people miss it, don't they? Do you know what I mean? Because like, I trained 8 rounds. I did 9 rounds this time. It's like, well, the fight ain't getting any longer, is it? You're just getting slower. But you trained at TriStar, did you? With Faraz and
yes,
GSP
Faraz
and
is
stuff.
a really great coach.
Right. I was
Yeah,
gonna say, what's that experience like?
He's just a really good coach.
Yeah.
Breaks things down really well. I think I did most of his grappling classes.
Okay.
Less striking. He taught less striking. The striking was like, you find a partner and you do your rounds. Everyone knew what they're doing. Everyone was pros.
Pro class, right?
And yeah, and there's so many fighters that you stick with your weight class. You don't spar anyone bigger or lighter.
That's cool, isn't it? I
Yeah,
like that.
that's the biggest
like that.
difference.
Yeah.
And back to what I was saying about like finding the right training partner is not specific to Gauntlet, but when I was sparring a lot of the guys at Gauntlet, there were a lot of guys that were a little bit newer and they're moving forward. And I need to keep my space and I need to strike, and I'm peppering them nice and light and landing, but they're not.
I know what you're saying. They're not respecting it, so it doesn't come off as much.
Yeah, so then I have to go a little harder to
right.
show them.
Yeah.
And then that little hip sweep that I was doing, I actually try not to do it. I try not to do it unless I have to.
Right.
And I had to do it
because I saw it.
Forward.
Yeah,
I kept going forward. Yeah.
Well, because that's a good point as well. I think it's interesting for people, important for people to hear is that if you're going light, you need your partner to respect the space. Because there was someone there when I sparred too, and it was we were moving around. I threw a left hook, and I caught him a bit heavy, and I meant to, oh, sorry, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But as I settled down, he started kicking more, head kick, this kick, and I was like, well, now I've got to turn it back. Do you know what I mean? Because you're not playing the game anymore.
Right.
And then
You
it was
change
a bit
the tempo, intensity, and intensity.
And then as soon as I turned it back up, it was hey, and it's like, well,
you're
kicking me in the face. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've got to survive here. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, side note. But that's rant for the day over.
Yeah, it's very important. Actually, it's funny because I've been talking about this so much this week that I think I'm going to make a video on it, teaching that, explaining that. But yeah.
It's interesting when you speak to a lot of high-level pros, whatever discipline, whether they're boxing world champions, stuff like that. What I've started to realise over the last few years as well, they actually do a lot less than you think they do sometimes, don't it? Like you assume you've got the image in your head, they train 8 hours a day and they don't sleep and they eat. But some of them are like, one of the guys particularly, I won't say who it is in case he didn't want it out there, but he was world champion in his given art, and he used to train once a day for about an hour and a half. And people that were standing there was like, but he was like, hard, intense session. He was like, how long's my fight? And it was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? His point was he trains more out of training camp than in.
Right,
when it's in, it's all about recovery, keeping his weight right, eating healthy. I think he said at one point he was sleeping for like 14 hours a day.
Yeah, I was told that too. And I also followed this. Outside of camp, that's when you put more time and hours into learning technique, drilling, exhausting the body. And then when you're in camp, you're in and out.
Yeah, right. Is that almost like going to work in the morning, like a 9 to 5? I get up all day, I'm a fighter, then I recover, and then when I've got a fight camp, right, it's time to notch it up.
Yeah.
Because you have to, right? Because otherwise, if you're in a training camp and you're training that, you've got to train at the intensity for starters, right? But if you're going to be banged up, aren't you? You know, and especially MMA, legs.
And you're also cutting weight.
Cutting weight's a big one.
Yeah.
Cutting weight's a big. Have you ever had injuries sort of related to cutting weight?
Fortunately, not.
Yeah, because that's one I heard recently, an Achilles tear. They was down on weight.
I find I get sick a lot when I cut weight.
Yeah, that's interesting. Because, and you said it's not an extreme weight cut for you either, but it's a
not-
big
not
one.
too
It's pretty
much.
big, right? It's pretty big.
I think it's pretty standard.
Is that okay? Right.
Pretty standard nowadays.
Right, yeah. Because there's some people now that seems to be. Well, I say that. Certain people I speak to, it's like it almost feels like that big weight cut days are going away, and then you see someone else who's 6'6" fighting a welterweight, and you go, oh, okay, they're not going away. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think body types must play into it, which is a whole other thing. Did you work with a nutritionist when you was getting ready for fights? No.
No. People think pros know everything. If you're in the UFC and you're high in the UFC, then you have your own nutritionist. I mean, I was guessing. I've tried macro-training, like training in macros. I've tried intermittent fasting. I've tried starving. I've tried everything.
Yeah, well, because diet, and I'm not saying there's no benefits to it. I try and eat clean as I can, all that kind of stuff. I do the fasting, blah, blah. But when you see someone on a certain diet or a certain strength conditioning program, I can't say that sort of thing works better for anyone. Can you? There's not like a clear thing where
strength conditioning
or diet where you go, they're doing that one, they've improved. It
no,
doesn't seem to
I don't believe in a specific diet. You know how there's like a carnivore diet, diet. I think if you just eat less, train harder, and stick to it.
Miracle, yeah.
There's no secret. And again, another common question I get asked is like, what do I do to cut weight, man? Someone at the Gauntlet asked me that.
Did they?
No, not a Gauntlet. I was in Camden. Someone asked me that, and I said, you got to eat less and you got to stay consistent and you got to train more. And there's no secret.
Right.
You're hoping for like a secret special answer. That there's no secret. You just got to do it.
Tell you one I never understand is when guys blow up at a camp, like when they haven't got a specific fight and they get like 15 kilos overweight and they've got like a little soft tire. I just go like, I don't understand.
I kind of understand that because after you do cut amount of weight, you can eat so much after,
right?
And your stomach is constantly craving, and I just want to eat.
Right.
And then once you get enough of it, then you go back to normal.
Yeah. So like Paddy's a good example of that. Anyway, we've all
that's
seen
a little
pictures.
too much, but I do understand being more hungry than usual.
Is that a timing thing? Do you think you can get away with that for a while? It's got to do your longevity up, right?
Oh, I don't think it's healthy for sure.
You can't be.
Cutting weight in general is not good for you.
Yeah. No, cutting weight can't be, especially when you're doing
and the fluctuating back and forth is not good.
Like Rumble Johnson's the classic one in the UFC back in the day. How much he used to cut for 170 at one point, right?
Even George St. Pierre.
Did it? Was he big?
He's 200.
Is he that big? Yeah.
Yeah, in fought 170. Yeah.
Did you ever get a chance to roll with him or anything?
No, unfortunately not.
But did you see him in person?
Yeah.
Is he quite a big, imposing guy? Is he?
Pretty.
Is he? Yeah.
I think he was. He's pretty big,
yeah. Yeah, he's pretty big welterweight champ.
Like wide.
Middleweight champ, he's got to be, isn't he? But, mate, listen, this has been brilliant. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
I've got an important question for you.
Yes.
I always ask everyone before we finish. I'll call it football, not soccer, because we're in England.
Okay.
What football team do you support?
What?
What football team do you support?
I don't watch
Chelsea. Very good. Thanks for coming, my brother.
Chelsea.
I always finish with a fist up like this, mate. Squeeze the neck. Boom.